Be quick. What would be the opposite of that? Variation, deviation, errors. Varsha.
So accuracy.
Sir, standard error.
Standard error, Balaji, will be the deviation error. Synonym. Fine. Thank you. Now, when you are predicting, you are telling something. Okay.
Deception.
Your astrologer tell that Nishinamrata will marry a Rajkumar from Britain. Okay. So there is some prediction kind of thing. Okay. So how far it is true? Okay. It is he or she will be telling 95% guarantee, 99% guarantee. So somebody is assuring. So that deviation opposite is how much confidence you have got in your estimate. Okay. So the estimation would be associated with some probable computation. Today, we'll be just summarizing whatever we have discussed today. First, we'll try to suggest what we have in estimation and what we will be discussing in estimation. Nishinamrata, is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All of you, those who might have seen by chance, by mistake, Levin's ebook, sampling is one chapter, estimation is one chapter, and then hypothesis is another big chapter. Actually, sampling and estimation, I am covering with a minimum importance focus because these two chapters are theoretical chapters and we may not be expecting much from our exam point of view. Max 1 or 2 marks from two chapters may be there. So I'll be covering within 30-40 minutes two chapters on sampling concept, on estimation concept. And if you feel there is some doubt, you are most welcome. You can ask me. But we'll be giving more focus, more detailed discussion on testing of hypothesis, which is a must from exam point of view. So here we go. So today we'll be trying to cover estimation concepts, and then we'll be covering sampling, the concepts. There we'll be trying to cover what is sampling, why we go for sampling, and how it is done. Then we'll have several types of estimations, types of sampling with examples. This PPT I'll share with you soon after the class, but you can please stop me, ask me, and join me in discussing the finer points. Next is a very brief intro, which you will be getting from Levin's book. I have borrowed it from Levin's book. And say, for example, I'll not be reading the lines here. This PPT is for you. Say, for example, we'll be trying to estimate in this difficult time of COVID. Can we have one estimation on what would be the average CTC in the campus recruitment that is going to happen for School of Management in KT University? And how many companies may visit our school? Or maybe like how much mark I may fetch in the final exam. So when you are trying to predict, estimate, you are using some tools or techniques. So what we'll be doing it, these are the conditions, requirement, necessities when public in general and managers in particular will be using estimation for their decision making. Okay, and we'll have some techniques, statistical techniques, so that it is more meaningful, more accurate, and more mathematical. Okay. To be very brief, you can quickly note it down some finer points very quickly. We have got two types of estimates. One will be called point estimate, and another is called interval estimate. Suppose today in the beginning, I gave you example of, I think, Niva cyclone. Okay, you can like say the wind speed could be 140 or 150 kilometer per hour. When you are using a number, a point, that kind of estimation will be called point estimation. But when you are using some interval, say for example, you are telling the wind speed could be between 140 to 160, that type of estimation is called interval estimation. Can I request Ria to tell quickly what is the difference between point and interval estimate? Be quick, Ria. If you have listened to me, then to Ashrit, anyone, please save time.
Sir, point estimation means accurate, and interval means there will be any range for the estimation.
Nishi Namrata, if by chance you were listening to me.
Yes, sir. The point estimate was that one data will be estimated, and that will be the calculation what we have thought. And interval is there is a range, like in weather cyclone. You said that between this and this it should be.
Tejaswini, what is the difference between point estimate and interval estimate?
So point estimate is direct, like for example, there is only one number or a point. In case of interval estimate, we have an interval that is a range of number, suppose from
All of you,
142
what
to
you
140.
told partially correct. Don't use the word direct. When you are using a number or a point, say for example, I am to guess what is the age of Ashirvad. Okay, I can tell Ashirvad is very young and his age is 65. Okay, 65 is a number. So I'm giving a point or a number. So my estimation is in form of a particular number, point. So it's a point estimate. So when I'm using a point estimate, chance of being error will be higher. But if I tell Ashirvad's age is 99% guarantee, his age will be 20 to 60. होगा 99% guarantee होगा नहीं होगा?
Yes, sir.
So the chance of being correct is higher when you are using intervals for your estimation. When you're using a single number, it's not a direct or indirect. So all of you please note it down. Nobody should write a direct method. It's just a point, a number. Okay. I'll be giving you elaborate kind of things. Say for example, all of you note it down. Example could be, as I was suggesting, that by some means you have calculated this year, maybe the average package could be 7.5 lakh for annum. Okay, so it's a number, it's a part of example of point estimate. Okay, say for example, the cyclone speed could be 220 kilometer per hour. Okay, this is part of Ashirvad what? Point or interval estimate?
It will be point estimate.
So this type of example you should be in a position to give in exam. Okay. Now point estimate, as I just told, is often insufficient because it is either right or wrong, because you are telling a number and you have got a high chance of being wrong. Now interval estimate is a range or interval having lower limit, upper limit, and you estimate about the entire population or what is going to happen in future. Okay. And usually there will be some probability factor and associated with every range. I'll be giving an example. Say for example, you are giving a range or interval that the package could be between 7 to 9 lakh per annum. Okay, and you assign that with 95% confidence. Okay, as I was suggesting, what is the opposite of error? Now you recall, Siddhant, I was like asking error kind of thing. So here, what is the amount of error we can info?
Sir, in this example, 7 to 9 lakh per annum.
Though we have just started, I have not elaborated much. Anybody can guess, Ipsita?
5%.
5%.
Yes,
5%.
yes. That's what I was about to tell. So that is the meaning. If you are repeating this kind of prediction, suppose somebody started today very well, there is a mathematical model to predict the wind speed of a cyclone. Suppose you have predicted on 100 occasions. Okay, the 95% guarantee means, Kirti, out of 100 predictions, at least 95 cases your prediction should be correct. Okay, only 5 cases your prediction may not be coming true. Okay, got my point? Like say Bihar election prediction. I think you all must have read the news item. For the first time, the predictions went wrong very grossly in Bihar election. Okay, so sometimes it happens. They are using some formula, and sometimes maybe because of the sampling bias, maybe like sampling composition, your exit poll estimation went wrong for Bihar. Okay,
Because
so
they did not
similarly,
consider the vote of women. That's why the
right. We'll not be entering into the details what happened there. Actually, the sample selection was bad. We'll be discussing that. Dheeraj, I would request you when I am covering a particular type of sampling, please remind me there this particular example. Okay. Moving forward, similarly, the wind speed. Okay, wind speed you can like write that with 95% confidence or 95% chance or 90% probability, it would be perhaps 200 to 260 kilometer. So this is what we do for interval estimate. Okay, so there is a difference between the two. Usually, all of you please note it down. I'll be giving you example. I have suggested today it could be max 1 mark or 2 mark question entire chapter. Ipsita, you remember. So we have only usually conventionally 3 type of confidence intervals. What are they? 90% confidence, 95% confidence, and 99% confidence. So we'll be calculating, or we can expect a question, short question in exam. Calculate or construct a 99% confidence limit. Okay, that type of question may come. Now, what is the meaning of that? I think some of you might have already guessed when I'm using probability. I think this graph is quite familiar to all of you. I think this we have covered. You remember this? Siddhant, you want to sleep?
Yes, sir.
Weather is bad and you want to sleep?
No, sir.
Okay, so what are the figures here? Can you explain quickly? 1 minute, 3 graphs, 1 minute, 30 seconds each.
Sir, can you please repeat, sir, what you asked?
Can you explain the numbers shown in the graph? 3 graphs, 1 minute, devote 30 seconds each.
Sir,
Anybody who recalls? Any volunteer? Asirvad?
Sir, in this graph, mu plus sigma, the range of mu plus sigma and mu minus sigma considered 68% of
Very
the
good.
probability.
Slow, go slow. Very good. Siddhant, remember, exam is very near. So there is an interval. What is the interval, Asirvad? Repeat again.
Mu plus sigma and mu minus sigma.
There is one average. Around the average, make one interval. What is the lower limit, Siddhant? Siddhant, unmute kar rahe, Siddhant.
Mu minus 3 sigma.
sir,
Mu minus
now.
sigma. Mu minus sigma is the lower limit. Okay. Say, for example, I'll be giving one example. Suppose company is giving a guarantee on mileage. Okay. Honda Activa mileage. Say, for example, 50 kilometer, 2 kilometer variation. Okay. 48 to 52. Company is suggesting that I can give you 95% guarantee that my bike will give you mileage within this. What is the meaning of that 95% guarantee, Asrit? If company is giving you guarantee of
5% there is no chance.
what is that meaning? Can you
There is
elaborate?
5% that there will not be the.
If you experiment 100 bikes,
5%.
if you experiment with 100 bikes, at least 95 bikes you will get mileage within that range. Okay, hardly 5 bikes may not give you that result. All of you are clear?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, you have got 3 type of confidence intervals. When I'm talking of confidence intervals, what is the confidence term? Tejaswini Nayak.
Confirm, sir. Like,
Correctness.
Jatin, what is that confidence? Then Gaurav Das.
Accurate means.
Are there? You look to the graph. Gaurav. Probability, chance. 99%, 95%, 68% probability. That is the guarantee. Okay. Confidence is nothing but your probability. Okay. Please remember. And every probability has got one specific limit. What are the limits? Ipsita, Machiudochu, Namosa. What are the limits, Ipsita? 99% confidence. 99.7% confidence, Ipsita. What is the limit?
0.
Balaji.
Oh,
Balaji.
sorry, sir. Mu minus 3
Sigma.
sigma 2 mu plus 3 sigma.
Very good. That much you have to write. For 1 mark, you just write that only. Okay. Now, please remember, those who have minutely observed or written earlier, it is not exactly 95%. It is 95.5. It is 99.7. So, if you want a round figure here, then there will be some fractional value in the Z.
2.58.
Priyanka, what is Priyanka Patra? What is the Z value here? Can you see the cursor? Last graph. What is the Z value at the right hand border? Any volunteer?
0.35.
Only 3.
Only 3.
Plus 3.
Okay.
Minus 3 to plus 3. Here minus 2 to plus 2. Here minus 1 to plus 1. You have forgotten in normal distribution. Are kiye the re, Priyanka. So now, if you want a round figure, this Z value will be slightly fractional. So those are the numbers. All of you should write carefully, and that is most important. Please write it and mug it up. And the first one is, as I have told, it will be plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, or minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Then we'll be getting 68%, 95.5%, 99.7%. If you want to have round figure, the figures are like this. All of you write. One is called 90% confidence interval. The Z will be how much, Asrit?
1.645. 1.645.
Minus 1.645
Minus 1.645.
plus 1.645. Okay. You have to remember this number. And if you want 95% confidence, and the Z value will be 1.96 times sigma or standard error. And the rest will be 5%. Please see the rest. The rest error you just told yourself today morning. And the last one is 99% confidence interval. And the confidence limit will be 2.58. So 3 numbers, all of you please note it down: 1.645, 1.96, and 2.58. Okay. Jatin, look to your roof, look to your ceiling, then tell me the numbers. Look up, tell the 3 numbers.
Sir, 1.645, 1.96, 2 point something.
Something. Gaurav Das, look to the ceiling. Gaurav Das.
2.58, 1.645, 2.58, and 1.96.
Ria, look up. Ria, look up. Tell the 3 numbers.
So 1.96, 1.645, and
2.45 रे. Priyanka, look up. ऊपर को देख.
So 1.96, 1.8, so 2.58, 2.58.
Siddhant Kavi, look up.
याद नहीं किया सर. It's 1.645, 1.96.
Arundhati, look up. अरे unmute कर रहे.
Sorry, sir. So 1.645, 1.96, and 2.58.
Please, all of you are requested. Only 3 numbers you have to remember it. Okay. And the rest is called error. We'll be discussing that, right? So if mu value and sigma is given, you have to find the confidence intervals. Okay. Now here, actually, please see, have a look, actually, what is the confidence limit, and opposite is called critical region. Okay, so this is what like we have to have the central value average, and all the distributions should be assumed as a normal distribution, normal curve, and you have got some intervals like this. And here you predict that in between it, this is going to happen, the wind speed, whatever. Now, when the actual value falls either on the two extremes, left side or right side, these are the errors. So this error region is also called as critical region. Critical region is unacceptable region. Okay, suppose anything. Suppose a welcome rainfall for the crop. So this area, this much is welcome. If it is too less rain, it's bad, unwelcome. If it is too heavy rain, it is also unwelcome. So critical word means unwelcome region. So this is something like the error component. So if it is 95%, both side blue area together will be 5%. Is that clear? So this is what we call it critical region and confidence limit. These are the opposite thing. Okay, white area, confidence area limit, and the blue area is the critical region area. Okay. Now moving forward, how estimation is dependent or linked on sampling. As somebody correctly stated today morning, that we take past data and use mathematical model to predict the wind speed of cyclone. I think somebody told. Who told that? So this is what you take a sample, right? So how many companies will come? What would be the average package? You never know. So for example, what would be the total crop paddy production in India this monsoon? Okay, so for that, you cannot measure each and every plot. You take a sample and you multiply some number, then you know what would be the total paddy production estimate for India. So for that, many times we need the use of sampling. Okay, this is very common thing that many times it will be huge population, inaccessible population, and it will be very costly to enumerate, survey the entire population. So these are the reason why we go for sampling. Okay, and many times it is also unknown. Okay, say for example, there are two options. If you want to know minute, accurate result, Tanya and Arundhati, suppose what are the COVID patients? How do you know? Our motto is all should be tested, and we should actually contain those areas where COVID patients are there. Okay, so how do you know this? Is it possible to go for the complete testing of the entire population, Tanya?
No, sir.
There are many regions. One, we don't know who is having a COVID symptom, okay, unless one is expressing. Two, it is a very large, vast area, and it is also expensive, okay. So that's why what we do, we go and take samples, and based on the sample, we try to arrive at what is the percentage of the person affected by COVID-19 virus. So there are two methods. One is like census method, where you have the complete enumeration of the entire population, which is mostly not possible. And we then resort to sample survey method. We have got two methods of data collection, right? Now, before we go for the type of sampling methods, let's have some terms discussed very quickly. I think many of the terms you know. I guess like you know what is the meaning of a population. Population is the aggregate or the total individuals. It need not be human population. It could be population of trees. It could be population of cows. So in statistics, it has got one general extended definition. Population does not mean only human population. Population will be aggregate of similar individuals or units. So we can say population of trees, population of cows, population of industries, if you want to inspect the industry also. Okay. Now, from one angle, we can say it could be finite population and another could be infinite population. I guess one can give examples of finite population and infinite population. Known population and unknown population can also be classified. Now, sample is a finite portion of population. That is the definition. Finite portion and well representative portion of the population is called sample. Okay. Please remember, sample and sampling, they're different. All of you please note it down. Many times students get confused. Sample is just a noun. It is just a portion. Sampling is a way of drawing a sample from the population. I repeat, sample is just a portion, and how you draw the sample from the population is called sampling. Vikisha Naik, you are there? Differentiate between sample and sampling. Jaldi bol. Bhavani, what?
Sir, sampling is a sample is a portion and sampling is a how.
जोर से बोल Bhavani, जोर से बोल. Come closer to the microphone.
Sample is a portion and sampling is the how to draw that portion. That is the sampling.
धीरज तेरा मुस्टैच क्या हो गया? साइक्लोनिक इफेक्ट? Okay, बोल difference between sample and sampling. Using
sample is a portion and sampling is drawing a sample from population is called as sampling.
So your mustache. Okay. ठीक है. And next will be sampling frame. Again, this is different from sample and sampling. All of you know, please remember, even the PhD scholars also get confused between sampling and sampling frame. Sampling frame is the list of units. जहां units का details लिखा हो, that is called sampling frame. Okay. Say for example, Asrit. As you know that Asrit is very generous and is doing a lot of charity and eco-friendly work. All of you must be knowing. Very recently, I think he was seen in his social media on Go Seva. Go Seva, I think I'm correct. Suppose in Berhampur city, you want to know what is the proportion of cows malnourished or affected by some disease. Are you getting my point? Whether they are taken proper care or not. Suppose we are conducting a survey, we want to know how much of cows are malnourished. First, Ashley Shroff and then Priyanka Patra. How do you know this? How do you do this? Is census method possible? What is the meaning of census method for that example? Jaldi bol. Time bahut kam hai. What is the meaning of census method?
Like total population.
Population of Berhampur.
Cow population of Berhampur.
हाँ बोल ना वही. Is it a finite population or infinite population?
Finite population.
Ashribad.
It will be infinite.
Finite or infinite?
Infinite.
Priyanka. Bhagwan jane.
Sir, question. So for example, finite.
अरे वही रे. Cows of Berhampur.
Cows finite, sir. Finite.
Okay. I think most likely finite. There may not be many stray cows, but the dogs will be infinite, I guess. When you cannot count, dogs should be example of infinite, but cows, you may not find stray cows much, so it should be finite. Okay. Now, okay. So when you are making a survey, So you'll be selecting not convenience sampling. I'll be telling a bit later. Now, how do you know how many cows? If it is a finite, there should be a list. Suppose Priyanka's family having 2 cows, Ipsita family is having 1 cow, Jatin Lalit is having 200 cows, and Asrit is having 500 cows. So that list should be there in a town.
Yes, sir.
I think nowadays, if it is a good city,
Yes, sir.
there is also census of cows. And if you go to bigger cities, they give also numbers stapled to their ear or some other kind of thing. Okay. They also get some radio tag, whatever kind of thing. Okay. Now, if you by chance get a list of cows and their owners, then you take permission and you can check their health. Okay. So that list is called sampling frame. Got my point? Say, for example, how happy are people on the price hike of electricity bill in Bhubaneswar? Those who are from Bhubaneswar must have seen there is something, I think 20% hike in electricity tariff. Suppose you want to have a quick survey, right? How do we be getting the numbers? Siddhant Kavi, is that example clear or not interested to listen to that example?
सर वो मेरे घर वाले गए थे तो बस उन्हें टेक्स्ट कर रहा था कि हाँ बंद करवा सकते कुछ भी
फिर से बोल घर वाले
like my family just went downstairs and also
कितने
they were
families?
asking.
I thought something else. घर वाले ठीक है टेक केयर ऑफ योर घर वाले ठीक है आशीर्वाद तो ऐसा ही करता है सुबुदी सर का क्लास में ना तो नो एक्सक्यूज सिद्धांत आशीर्वाद
Yes, sir. Sir, for just making a quick survey, you have to get some sample of.
कहाँ से मिलेगा सैंपल क्या एग्जांपल है जतिन लाली जल्दी बोलो टाइम सेव करो फटाफट बोलो
Sir, hike in electricity bill, they are happy or not?
To whom you will be contacting?
To ask means to get that data, ask some colonies from Bhubaneswar.
You'll be going to colonies, or you can think of accessing the database from Tata Power Supply or SESU.
No,
So
sir,
that
actually
is-
we
that
can
is-
survey the happiness of the people, na? So we can ask the people.
सुन रहे. So what I'm suggesting is there possibility of getting a ready-made database? Database मिलेगा क्या? Database तो होना चाहिए ना? क्यों नहीं? Each household paying money, so there should be record, no? So if you are mandated, if you are permitted by government, so you are getting database. So that database is the sampling frame. Please note it down. That database is the sampling frame. That much remember. So from where you are getting the list, that is called sampling. Then you have to select the sample units. Okay. I think this we can skip. We have already elaborated enough. Census method many times not possible, and you better know when. I think indirectly I have given some examples. So we prefer many times sample survey method. Now coming to types of sampling, all of you please note it down. Broadly, we have got 2 types of sampling methods. One, probability sampling. Another is non-probability sampling. Ipsita Das, what are the 2 classification of sampling?
Probability sampling and non-probability sampling.
Okay, non-probability sampling will start first. Non-probability means it won't come automatically. It won't come by chance. You have got preference. It's not by chance. So then it is called non-probability. We have got this type of non-probability sampling. First one is convenience sampling. Suppose Asrit is not having sufficient time. They want to treat some cows. So whatever he finds, they can treat those cows, whoever comes. Got my point? So that is called convenience sampling. It's not randomly selected. Okay. You are not covering the entire cow population of Berhampur. So whoever comes first, you are just doing the survey or making the treatment. Okay. So that is called convenience sampling. Say, for example, testing of COVID. Mostly what happens in hospital catchment area, जहाँ जहाँ पे testing center हो, and within that radius, they try to cover if anybody is known to be affected or having symptoms of COVID. They are invited, asked, or picked up for testing. But there are some inaccessible area, rural areas, where there may be some COVID patients, but we are not approaching. So it is called convenient kind of thing. Now coming to judgment sampling, suppose you are to make selection. Suppose you want to select a person to be the manager of your company. You cannot pick randomly like a lottery method. Okay. So you are using your judgment as per the need, as per the requirement, which is best suited, you are selecting one. So that's a selection. So that is sample selection. You are not selecting everybody, and that kind of selection is called judgment sampling method. Okay. Now, next is quota sampling. Quota sampling, I think you are aware. If you have got some like fixed reservation to different categories, suppose there is a women quota in councillor selection of any municipality, suppose you have got 33% women quota, there will be women councillors. So that is reserved, then you make a selection. 33% women quota, or rest will be anybody, including women, they can contest. Okay. So if you are restricting, confining selection to different categories, they are called quota sampling. Can anybody very quickly, any volunteer, one sentence define the three non-probability sampling methods? Any volunteer? Please save time, please.
So can I try?
Nisi, please.
So convenience sampling is where a sample is not randomly selected.
Okay.
A
Move on.
judgment sampling is when we choose the best suited sample as per our need. And quota sampling is when we choose according to the fixed from the fixed reservation of total sample.
Category, selected category. Suppose I think your teachers might have started giving you sample projects, or I'm pretty sure in second year you'll be getting lots of projects where you will be going for sample survey, right? And you will having questionnaire, you will ask some feedback, and you will be analyzing and submitting as a project report. Suppose you are selecting 50 students response. How will be doing it? Tanya, are you getting my question example, Tanya or Priyanka or anybody else?
No, sir.
Sir, quota sample.
Are you really going to do that? Actually, करोगे कैसे और कैसे करते हैं स्टूडेंट लोग? Even also researcher, also teachers also do that. आप तो मेल करोगे ना, एक क्वेश्चनर, वर्षा सुन रहे, एक क्वेश्चनर बनाओगे आप लोग. You will be sending the questionnaire to somebody. Okay. To whom you will be sending? Suppose it is a survey on students' feedback on junk food consumption in hostels. Survey on junk food consumption in hostels. Okay. So what would be the target population, Tanya? Is the example clear? Student, which student? Is it your case of MBA student?
So any particular
Hostel
class, hostels?
Hostel student, but as per your convenience, suppose you are staying in the case of hostel, आप request करो कि from your friends, अरे ये भर दो. Are you getting my point? So that is called convenience sampling. So whoever conveniently you are approaching, you are sending or giving the questionnaire to fill up. So that kind of selection is called convenience sampling. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Now moving forward, next type of non-probability sampling is called snowball sampling. I guess like some of you must have done. Yeah, please Jatin, quick.
Sir, convenience and judgment sampling are both can be same or not?
Who can answer? Priyanka, aji kon pen doll tu achu kon mandu ko khai no na kon.
Nice, sir. So,
Can you answer, Jatin? Jor se bol.
yes, I can. I can try. So for convenience sampling, not all the population.
Can you use microphone closer? Yeah.
Sir, am I audible now?
Yeah.
So for convenience sampling, not all the population will be considered while selecting, but for judgment, all the population are selected are taken into consideration, and then.
No, dear. No, dear. That may not be correct answer. Anybody else? और कोई supplement करेगा?
Sir,
Thank you for trying. बोल
convenience sampling is based on time. You have a definite amount of time, and but in judgment sampling, it's all about need and requirement. In that need, what you get, that you will take.
Balaji, your network problem is okay or audio problem is there? Balaji, can you ask a question? I think Jatin is okay. Balaji network problem hai. Jatin, hope you won't mind my example. You can excuse this old man. Of course, I'm not that old. Suppose all of you listen to me. Jatin's parents wanted, घरे के पाखरे parents नान तो नले मते गाड़ी देबे. Wanted to get Jatin married tomorrow. Priyanka, you are not there in the line. Okay. Suppose the parents invited some 20 Dheeraj to Naure. To be line pe nahi ho. So suppose 20 decent ladies kind of thing. So Jatin cannot marry all 20 decent ladies with due respect to the ladies. Don't take it otherwise. Take it in academic spirit. So he is permitted as per rule to select only one lady. Jatin, are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
So you will be selecting randomly one lottery method or convenient like the girl next door. Asrit, could you follow what is the meaning of convenient sampling? Girl next door. Should it be judgment sampling? Should it be judgment sampling or convenience sampling or anything quota sampling?
Judgment sampling.
Judgment sampling. So your taste, your preference, your liking. Okay. So when you are exercising that, that is the need of the hour. You cannot select like conveniently. Production hai kind of thing, you will get mutton curry, chicken curry kind of thing. So it's not that the consideration. It's a lifetime decision kind of. Am I answering your question? The difference between convenience and judgment sampling? Yes. Okay.
Yes,
moving forward. Anybody who can comment on snowball sampling? If by chance anybody has known earlier what is the meaning of convenience sampling? Let's be quick. थोड़ा time save करो. No one? Okay. Just to save time, snowball sampling is in a difficult case where you do not know where your sampling units are. Then if you get one sampling unit, then you get the reference of that person and go to the other. Okay. Like say, for example, there is a theft case and Asrit is the OIC of police station. So what the police usually they do, Asrit, किसी को उठा लो और आप उत्तम मध्यम you understand, बढ़िया सा ट्रीटमेंट दे दो and somebody calls it 3rd degree or 4th degree whatever. वो बेचारा बताया कि नहीं प्रियंका is my crime in partner. प्रियंका को उठा लो, 2-4 थापड़ दे दो. Priyanka will tell नहीं Tanya is also there. So one is telling about other is telling about the other. Similarly, if you go on getting the referrals to go to the subsequent sampling units, that is called snowballing, and you get access to other. Say, for example, who are using a particular, say, lesser known net service, say, for example, JetSpot in Bhubaneswar. Anybody by chance in this audience using JetSpot service? Very less. Suppose in one locality you happen to know how good or how bad is JetSport service in internet service providing. So then you may not be knowing. It's a strange thing kind of thing. Suppose you happen to get one and you ask, do you by chance know in your association or feedback sessions kind of thing, if you know another customer. So from him or her, you are approaching another person. So when one sampling unit gives clue or gives a reference about the subsequent sampling units, then that is called snowball sampling. Is that clear? Moving forward, the next group of sampling is called probability sampling, which is mostly called random or chance sampling, where you do not have choice, where we do not have human choice. All by chance it will be coming. First, foremost, and simplest is called simple random sampling, or in short, what you know is called random sampling. Okay, I think I need not elaborate this. Systematic sampling is only one unit you select randomly, and the subsequent units will be selected systematically. I think these are very simple terms. You may please Google, and max to max, you can write one sentence each. And next will be stratified random sampling. This is a bit important for us. Stratified random sampling is one when the population in total is not homogeneous, it is heterogeneous. In case of heterogeneity in population, then you have to stratify the population first. I repeat, in case population is heterogeneous, you have to first divide or stratify the population into different small strata. Like data, strata is plural. All of you please remember, singular is called stratum. Like say you want to conduct a socioeconomic survey. When you are talking of income level of the Bhubaneswar families or residents, Jatin, I think Bhubaneswar residents are all uniform? Yes or no? When you are taking of capital, sir? Very good. I was checking whether you are awake or half asleep. It's a quite diverse. You also get like BPL families in Bhubaneswar. You also get like MIG, middle income group, and you are also getting higher income group. So when you are conducting a survey on the living standard or the attitude towards a marketing program, and you feel that their economic background will also play a major role in deciding the consumer preference. In that case, better you have to first divide into three categories. What could be the three categories, Asrit? LIG, lower income group.
MIG, HIG, LIG.
Right. So I think we can suppose that within those strata, there will be relatively more homogeneities can be expected. Okay, so that is the purpose of stratification. There could be a question, why and when we should go for stratified random sampling. I think I have explained this. Next would be cluster sampling. If units are found in high concentration in some areas, in clusters, we can go for cluster sampling, but not equally divided sampling or stratified sampling. Like say Sivakasi. All of you must be knowing Sivakasi is famous for what, Ashrith?
Crackers.
Cracker industries. Okay. Similarly, you have got like hosier industry, leather industry, some pockets are there. So those are called the clusters. Okay. So when you are going to some concentration of sampling units, then we go for cluster sampling. Okay. Next, I guess the last one is called multi-stage area sampling or random sampling. Suppose we want to have a nationwide survey, and we don't have much fund or time. In that case, what we'll be doing, first, geographical wise, we'll be dividing it. If you want to know, say, the response of citizens on economic policy of government in different areas, we need not go to each and every district of entire country. You select first few states, then out of those few states, you select few districts, then out of those districts, you select few blocks. So stage by stage, you are reducing the geographical area. So that is called multi-stage area selection. Okay. Then from the smallest unit, then you select some households for your survey. Is that clear? Any question up to this?
Sir, will you please explain the cluster sampling?
Cluster sampling need not be only to the cluster of industrial houses. Even say, for example, television serial appreciation. Okay. Say, for example, a particular serial may be liked by children, may not be liked by adults. Suppose a serial which is most preferred, liked by women, may not be liked by men. I think you know that. Some of these serials like mega serials, those are most watched by ladies and maybe least watched by gents. Suppose you want to verify why the taste varies for a particular serial. Then what you would do? In the family, you have to ask different family members. So now your inspection unit is a family, not a person. But a family consists of several members having their own opinion, own taste preferences. So a family can also be called as a cluster of units. So a cluster means set of units. Please remember this. Okay. Then that's where you have got a few individual units taken as a group sample. That is called cluster sampling. Okay. Anything else? Suppose I'll ask a tricky question, though not a very difficult question. Who can differentiate the basic distinction between probability sampling and non-probability sampling? Mona Lisa Pradhan, then Akanksha Mahapatra. Can you respond, please, quickly? Please respond.
Yes, sir.
Quick. Please answer or say pass.
Sir, pass.
Ayushi Vishwas, Ayushi.
Sir, I also don't know, sir.
Gayatri.
Yes, sir. Sir, in non-probability sampling, it won't be by chance, and in probability sampling, means the so it's by chance method, and in non-probability sampling is a faster approach, but it needs some sort of variables. But in probability sampling,
Okay. She has tried at least. Thank you, Gayatri. Can anybody give a better wording to the same answer? Anybody else?
So can I?
Please, Ria.
So in
Tejaswini.
probability sampling, it is completely a chance factor, and in non-probability sampling, it is somewhat biased, and the decision is in our hands.
Okay. First is you can expect that every single unit has some chance of getting selected. From the population in probability sampling, every unit has got some chance of getting selected in probability sampling. But in non-probability sampling, all units may not have chance. You name any non-probability sampling, you will find that you are not approaching covering each and every unit of the population. Say, for example, simple enough sampling. In simple random sampling, how it is done? In a lottery method, you make cheats, you put it in a box, shuffle it, take out one. Okay. So every single unit has got a chance of being selected. But snowball sampling, who are the actual victims? You don't know. Only some you are identifying and surveying over. Judgment, you prefer this and you have selected. That is your own choice. Convenience sampling, because of convenience, you approach somebody for your survey. You are not approaching, like I asked, like how many students are there? How many hostels are there? There are so many hostelers, but you are not thinking of other hostel of Utkal University or ITR or CET or what other colleges kind of thing. Okay. So in probability, it is choice versus chance. Which is choice, which is chance? Tanya. What is choice, what is chance?
So, like choice is something which we will preferably choose from a sample.
I am asking distinction between non-probability and probability.
Yes,
I
sir.
have given you all two words.
Choice or
Choice
probability?
versus, yes, choice is
Probability.
probability. Asrit,
Chance is probability and choice is
Chance, yes, sir.
non-probability.
Tanya. If you are writing that one, you will be getting 0. Okay. Chance means probability. Choice, preference means non-probability.
Non-probability.
All of you please remember. Single one word differentiation between probability sampling and non-probability sampling. Is that clear? Now, coming to the next important section, I'll just be introducing hypothesis or hypothesis testing concepts, but I'll be taking minimum 1-2 sessions on hypothesis testing because this is very, very important for us. Now, in hypothesis testing, hypothesis is nothing but some assumption or proposition what may hold good, what may happen. Say, for example, there may be like a thinking. Girl students are more attentive than the boy students in any class. This could be one assumption. It could be true or false. So when you are assuming something, it comes up as a proposition. And if you are stating it mathematically, it becomes one hypothesis and you verify, test it whether it is true or false. So what is the hypothesis, Asirvad? I just told as the first example. क्लास रे सुनो ना कि आउ का कथा भाबुछु कौन करछु सेठु ढुळौछु Asrit, what I told, what is the example?
Sir, example is that the girls are more attentive than boys in class.
Okay, so if can it be verified, can it be tested, can it be proved? Priyanka, what's your say?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
How? Though we have not started hypothesis testing chapter, but any case, can you design a research? Can you experiment? Can it be proved? I'm not told. Just a minute, dear. I'm not told who are more intelligent. If you want to test the intelligence, I can conduct one IQ test. I can find the average IQ score of girls. I can test the average IQ score of boys, and I prove it because my finding IQ score of girls are higher than boys. So I say they are more intelligent. So this is what mathematically we can prove. So that is called testing of hypothesis. Now, if I want to test a bit more complicated qualitative concept like attentive, any suggestion? Is it possible to experiment and verify? It should be scientific. And all testing hypotheses are scientifically done, proved. Any suggestion? How can I do this?
So just like you ask a question suddenly in the middle of the class, that could be something.
Wow. Suppose the recall factor. Okay, I ask some finer points. Who recalls the most? Okay, very good, Somit. So that who are more attentive, who is listening more carefully, he or she is more attentive. So you design the research how you want to measure the attention of the students. So that can be one example of hypothesis. So Mona Lisa, you are there.
Yes, sir.
What is hypothesis? We have not defined today.
Sir, example.
Definition I asked, meaning. So you are not more attentive. धीरज, वीडियो स्विच ऑन कर रहे धीरज. प्रचेता.
Yes, sir. So hypothesis is an assumption or a proposition that we prove
Wow,
in this.
wow,
Yes, sir.
wow. All of you please note it down. They are just some proposition or assumption which should be tested for its true or false kind of thing. So this is what the definition we can have. There are so many definitions. Hypothesis is an unproven proposition or supposition that tentatively explains certain facts or phenomena. Phenomena is plural, phenomenon is singular. Okay. We have got two types of hypothesis. One is null hypothesis. Another is called alternative hypothesis. Null hypothesis usually is a statement which describes, explains status quo. There is no difference. Say, for example, in my last example, I can say boys and girls are equally attentive. There is no difference between boys and girls so far as the attention is concerned. Okay. Alternative, it is indicating a clear edge over the other. I say girls are more attentive. Okay, that is called alternative hypothesis. And we have got symbol. This is called H0 for null hypothesis and H1 for alternative hypothesis. We'll be giving some more examples very quickly. Don't worry. And this is one interesting and important table. All of you are requested to please note down the possible errors in sample testing or hypothesis testing. As we have started today, that our constant endeavor, interest is to know the unknown. And the population, when it is unknown, we don't know. Like the actual description of COVID virus, it is still being researched. Medicines are being tested, but we don't know. So when you are trying to know something about the unknown, then you take a sample, experiment, and conclude something. So that conclusion based on your sample may be correct or may not be correct. Please have a look how the situations may arise. Your final objective aim is to take a decision conclusion from sample. Why you are taking a decision from sample, Jatin? Quick answer, quick response. Because we don't know the population, COVID patients. We don't know the total population. So whoever we find, say for example, Ebola patient or something like that, you don't know where they are. Many times it is also very costly. So you take a sample and you take a judgment. Ashribad, can I have a joke if you don't mind?
Yes, sir.
Hope you don't mind and you are not very angry. You are a kind-hearted person, at least for me. Suppose you requested your father, I want to study the girl for 30 days. Then only I will take a call whether she is matching or not, whether I should agree to marry her or not. Okay. You could have asked for like testing, trying, checking, observing for 5 years. longer the observation, that is more accurate. Is it possible, Jatin?
No, sir.
Why no?
Sir, time limit.
Why time limit? Girl's parent will allow you. You experiment for 5 years, then say no. So you won't get a chance, like say 10 minutes, 20 minutes. In our days, no, we were not getting chance even to look at the brides. Okay. So if we are lucky to get like talk for 1-2 sentences, that is enough. So you make a judgment whether she is good or not, kind of thing. Okay. One meeting, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, then you inform. Then it could be a correct decision or a bad decision. If it is a bad decision, means Ashribad what? Sare Zindagi Jelo. Jelo, you understand? So that 10 minutes testing inference, it could be good or bad, but mostly 90%, 99%, it becomes good. Are you getting my point? But there is still chance of error. So please remember, many times we don't get the census method. We have to decide from the sample or the brief interaction that we may have. Now, say for example, you have tested the sample and you can have two decisions. So what are the decisions, Jatin? Either you say it's bad, reject. Either you say no, it's okay, accept it. Fine. But actually, the things could be also this type kind of thing. Let me put a very decent example. Nishi Namrata, madam, are you angry why you are switching up video? Suppose Nishi Namrata is appearing one interview, a company representative is taking her interview. All of you listen to me. I can ask anybody. As you know, they will be interviewing hundreds of people of a school because you are 300 plus. You remember, suppose TCS is coming. TCS is a common largest recruiter for KIT. So naturally, almost 100 people will be giving PI. Remember. So if the interviewer is interviewing more than 50, 60, 100%, you can imagine that mental status of the interviewer also. He or she will be getting irritated. Nishi Namrata, you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Suppose in the interview, actual interview will last for 5 minutes or 4 minutes or 3 minutes. Within 3-4 minutes, the interviewer will ask some questions, random questions. Nishi Namrata can answer, cannot answer also. All of you agree with me? If he is not able to answer, what will be the impression of the interviewer?
He will reject it.
Reject it. But actually, if I know Nishi Namrata, because I am teaching her every day, but she is very good. But at that point of moment, she could not answer that question. And that is the basis of rejecting her. So all of you please mark the left-hand side column. She is good, but she is being rejected. All of you are now clear. So now when you are combining the actual state or status, it could be good or bad, and the selection result, it could be rejected or accepted. Tejaswini Nayak, अरे वही तो
Yes,
switch
sir.
on करो यार. I am teaching to Indira Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi photo. And some of you 10-15% you should be live here. How will be like it's good. So if you combine first row and first column, IUC, how many situations are there? First is IUC, second is
Yes, sir.
Huma Jamal, then Samikya, then Nilesh, in that order. If she mano rakre kako koile mu bhuli hoji budha lok hoigalani. Now how many situations are there?
So in first,
अरे how many situations are there? जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ उसका आंसर बोल रहे.
the 4, sir.
4. So now look at here. You explain the situation here. What is the situation? IUC.
Yes, sir.
हो क्या रहा है इधर? Can you see my cursor, all of you? All of you, please mark it carefully. It's a very, very important table. And this should come in exam. I don't know, of course, no guarantee. Only 95% guarantee, 5% error. IUC बोल रहे first situation क्या है?
Sir, it is a wrong decision because
नहीं, कैसे होगा, कब होगा बोल रहे थ्रू एग्जाम्पल. मैंने तो अभी एग्जाम्पल बोला ना आयुषी.
Sir, why, sir, if we take that Nishi's example, then maybe she knows, sir, she knows, but then that point she cannot answer, so she is being rejected. So that is a wrong situation. Wrong
All of you are
decision.
clear? All of you are clear? Ipsita next term कर रहे तू भूली गलो तू भी ना आवरी बुढ़ा मोटो anybody who हुमा तू आवरी मोटो बयस रे बड़ तू मो माँ बयस रो हुमा जमाल you are there
Yes, sir.
बोल ना what is the second situation
Sir,
ये
second
क्या
situation
situation
is a correct decision.
अरे अभी बोल रहे ये सिचुएशन कब होगा कैसे होगा
When she knows the answer and she has given the correct answer.
and actually she is good and actually she is good you have to like explain
True
this
answer.
okay वो सही बोली और वो भी सही है ठीक है
Yes, sir.
जैसे मेडिसिन सैंपल मेडिसिन टेस्ट करते हैं ना डॉक्टर लोग वो जो सैंपल मेडिसिन था वो सैंपल मेडिसिन भी सही है इफेक्टिव है और सारा प्रोडक्ट जो कंपनी का प्रोडक्ट भी सही है ठीक है ऑल ऑफ यू आर क्लियर हु इज नेक्स्ट इप्सिता अच्छु ना सोई पड़लो सिद्धांत हु इज टू आंसर
आप
नेक्स्ट
क्या बोल रहे हो
Sir,
कौन
Nilesh.
नीलेश अरे इप्सिता 4 स्टूडेंट्स को मैंने चुना था जो बोलेंगे 4 सिचुएशन नीलेश है क्या अगर कोई नहीं है तो सिद्धांत है सिद्धांत बोल रहे नेक्स्ट सिचुएशन कब होगा कैसे होगा एग्जांपल दे ये जो दिख रहा है
ये यहाँ पे करेक्ट डिसीजन वो आंसर फॉल्स गलत आंसर करता है बट
मैंने एक एग्जांपल दिया था आशीर्वाद को लेके सभी को याद है आशीर्वाद को लेके
शादी
एक एग्जांपल दिया था ये बोल क्या हुआ कैसे होगा
तो यहाँ वो फंस गया था ना वो सर
नहीं
रे
रे तू ठीक से नहीं बोल रहा ठीक से एक्सप्लेन करना प्लीज बी सीरियस ये सिचुएशन कब हुआ
बताया सर नहीं मैं इसको
सर
समझ
मैं
गया
बोलती हूँ हाँ मैं बोलती हूँ ट्राई
बोल
करती हूँ
इप्सिता बोल
आशीर्वाद देखने गया लेकिन वो एक्चुअली लड़की ठीक तरह से आंसर नहीं दे पाई सो ही रिजेक्टेड तो ये होता है H0 मतलब करेक्ट डिसीजन नीचे वाला का और अगर ऐसा होता है कि
इप्सिता सुन मैं आई थैंक यू कैन आई विथ योर परमिशन कैन आई पुट इट लाइक दिस सपोज मान लो यू आर वेरी गुड फ्रेंड्स टू आशीर्वाद सम ऑफ यू सजेस्टेड कि आशीर्वाद जा किड स्क्वायर ब्रांच जो स्टेट बैंक है वहां टेलर पे एक लड़की मिलेगी अभी बाहर से तू देख ले अगर ठीक ठाक तुझे लग रहा है तो वी कैन हैव द प्रपोजल काइंड ऑफ ठीक है आशीर्वाद गया कहाँ गया किड स्क्वायर स्टेट बैंक ब्रांच को so that day there are so many customers demanding customer एक कस्टमर को समझाई like that particular time she was very furious in explaining to a customer और आशीर्वाद गया क्या मिला एक स्नेक मिली so immediate like आशीर्वाद अरे बाप रे बाप भगवान so वहां से भाग चलाओ आशीर्वाद okay actually with due respect don't take it otherwise in academic spirit nature wise also चिड़चिड़ा जो है ठीक है so actually which is not preferred by chance आशीर्वाद and she was not his kind of stop kind of okay so I'll be giving you another example suppose you are a principal of a school or a college and you want to purchase lot of chalks blackboard में जो लिखते हैं ना so a company has given you a sample chalk okay you are testing it and chalk is not good quality chalk टूट जाता है ठीक है all of you remember so एक दो बार try किया आपने and you decide कि नहीं ये हम नहीं लेना है ठीक है and actually that lot was bad are you getting my point so you have to give good example not Ashirwad wala example in exam I request you don't give Ashirwad wala example in exam you give some product situation kind of thing when you are given a product and that is you found that is not good quality and actually that company product is not good so you Siddhant actually मैंने बोला वो फंसा नहीं, बच गया। सिद्धांत जो बोलने जा रहा था कि वो आशीर्वाद फंस गया, वो फंसा नहीं, वो बच गया, बेचारा बच गया। ओके, सो इट्स ए करेक्ट डिसीजन, सो यू हैव टू एक्सप्लेन हाउ इट इज करेक्ट डिसीजन। जतिन, द लास्ट सिचुएशन क्या है, कैसे होगा ये सिचुएशन?
सर अगर फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन को लेंगे, मतलब निशी का एग्जांपल, तो निशी को आंसर मतलब नहीं आता है, बट एट द टाइम ऑफ इंटरव्यू वो सही आंसर दे देती है, तो उसका सिलेक्ट हो जाता है। तो बोथ कंडीशन मैच नहीं किया, बट दिस इज ए रॉन्ग डिसीजन।
ऐसा होता है कभी कभी, आप लोगों को पता होगा, जो सैंपल चीजें भेजते हैं ना, वही बहुत बढ़िया होता है। जैसे मिठाई, शादी वगैरह सेलिब्रेशन के लिए एक सैंपल होता है कि हमारे से लो, हमारा मिठाई बहुत बढ़िया है। एक दो आपने टेस्ट किए तो बहुत अच्छा लगा, and you are given order of say like 1 quintal sweets for the celebration, and actually क्या हुआ ना, the quality is not good, it is really very bad, the actual state is false, but how you have taken accepted it, Jatin, why and how you have accepted it?
सर सैंपल जो था वो अच्छा था।
हाँ, Priyanka, if you don't mind, all of you are requested, please don't mind. Can anybody give a try to आशीर्वाद वाला example? कोई अगर लाइटर बेन में बोलेगा, सिचुएशन 4 को रिलेट करो, ड्रामाटाइज करो, कोई बोलेगा? आश्रित, you give a try. Situation 4 आशीर्वाद वाला एग्जांपल।
सर मैं ट्राई करूं?
आशीर्वाद में
रिया बोल, रिया।
सर सपोज आशीर्वाद लड़की को देखने के लिए गया, 30 डेज उसको मतलब उसको समझा, और वो लड़की अच्छी नहीं निकली, बट स्टिल
नहीं रे अच्छी नहीं रे, अच्छी लगी रे, नहीं सुन रहे, अच्छी लगी एक्चुअली व्हेन शी।
Sir, can I try?
सुन, just to save time, इप्सिता ने बोली कि आशीर्वाद देख, एक प्रपोजल है, गो टू स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया, देयर इज वन young recruited lady, I know her and she is good, and if you like it then we can have the proposal kind of thing, okay? Or if she what she did, she informed earlier to that girl, okay, and that 2-3 minutes she was in the best form, bilkul makeup, whatever, you know, I am like running short of the words about the girls makeup kind of thing, and she was in the best form for the 2-3-4 minutes they spent interaction kind of thing. So बेचारा आशीर्वाद फंस गया, अच्छा लगा, decided, or only for 3-4 minutes she was good and rest of the life zero. So this is what like a bad situation kind of thing. Is that okay? Now this happens, but usually this type of instances will happen very less, remotely, जैसे 2-4% हो. So the chance of type 1 error is denoted as alpha, and chance of type 2 error is denoted as beta. Please all of you note it down, and they are actually called, first is producer's risk and second is called consumer's risk. I'll be very happy. Think over for 1 minute. Can anybody very clearly, confidently explain, taking manufacturing example, how it is producer's risk, how it is consumer's risk? Any volunteer? I guess like I had asked Akanksha Mahapatra to respond. Akanksha, मैंने बोला था कि आकांक्षा बोलने के लिए।
नो सर।
क्या नो सर? अरे ये तो ट्राई करना। स्वाभिमान राउत है क्या? स्वाभिमान?
यस सर।
हाँ बोल।
Sir, can I try?
हाँ प्लीज ट्राई। Please try.
Sir,
अब producers risk में भी कि producer का जो product है that may get rejected in the market, a good product may get rejected in the market, और consumer का risk ये है कि they might buy a bad product.
Okay. Can anybody very clearly, confidently elaborate further? Though
Sir.
Ria told something, I think it's
Sir,
not
suppose-
satisfactory. Yes.
Sir, I will tell you, sir.
Bol.
Sir, actually, suppose if a company is planning for doing their production, depending upon the festival or something, they did the sampling and all, and they had some. This is the quantity of, and if it is predicted as more, suppose they thought that the large quantity of material required, they did the production. At that time, the quantity of the goods is more, so that they should sell it for a low price. If suppose their estimation or everything is very less quantity, so that the demand will be more, so that consumers is risk. They should pay high price.
Has anybody followed? मुझे तो समझ में नहीं आया.
सर मैं ट्राई करूं?
No, sir.
Sir,
मैं try
can
करूं?
I try, please?
First Siddhant, then Tejaswini. Jaldi bol, save time.
Sir, producer risk, it can be like when we give out samples, एक sample देते हैं एक किसी भी retail या wholesaler को, अगर वहीं पे अगर वो सही ना हुआ तो बाकी सब उसका accept नहीं होगा. So that can be a producer risk. और consumer risk हो सकता है जहाँ पे हम sample check करते हैं, अगर हमने एक sample check करा वो सही है और बाकी product खराब है तो हमारे लिए consumer risk.
Tejaswini, you have got ready-made examples?
Sir, I have
So can I
got
try?
explanation. So can I try that?
No, same thing. आप तो वही बोलोगे
No, sir,
ना?
it's different. It's different.
बोल. Please,
सर
sorry.
अगर हम बोलें कि H not true और H1 और H not false जो है वो प्रोड्यूसर का दो प्रोडक्ट है, जो ट्रू है वो उसका अच्छा प्रोडक्ट है और जो फॉल्स है वो उसका बैड प्रोडक्ट है, और रिजेक्ट और एक्सेप्ट जो है वो कंज्यूमर.
Madam Professor Tejaswini, you are going really high tech. You are going. You will be getting 10 out of 10 marks. Bishwajit, will you kindly give me a chance? Can I try?
Yes, sir.
If you don't mind. अच्छा देखो, those who are from Odisha, I hope they must be knowing a person, I should not say mad fellow, called Madhu Babu. Those who are not from Odisha, let me tell you, he was a very sentimental, patriotic, fast barrister of Odisha, and he wanted what now Modi ji is calling Atmanirbhar. Right. So he wanted to do that, and he had one shoe factory that was called Utkal Tannery. And those who were not knowing, please listen to me. I'll take just 2 minutes. That person was so conscious, he will be randomly visiting the factory, and he will be randomly checking one shoe. If he is finding minute mistake, fault in one shoe, he will be simply telling, throw entire lot. Not a single pair of shoe should go to market. The only intention was that there should not be bad name of Utkal Tannery. Okay. Now maybe that one pair could be bad, but the entire lot will not be bad. So when you are taking a decision, no, your shoes are not good. When the boss is telling, nobody can say no. So similarly, if you are taking like in R&D, you are randomly picking a bulb, and that bulb alone was defective, and you decided, the SQC department, statistical quality control department of the company decided, अरे नहीं ये जो प्रोडक्शन लाइन है ये सब गलत आ रहा है, आप बंद करो, ये मार्केट मत भेजो, क्योंकि आपने ही चेक किया, the bulb was defective. But it may so happen the bulb chosen, that bulb alone is defective. But you have to decide, because you have found a defective bulb, and you are not sending anything to the market. So this is a huge producer risk, like the example I've told. Now coming to consumers risk, I'll be giving the example of sample medicine. Say for example, there is a cheap quality medicine of a company who is believing in like marketing gimmicks by gifting to the doctors. Huge, I think you must be knowing what is going on in the medical profession. and the doctors are given very costly kits. I think most of you know that. I'm not blaming all medicine companies, but there are like few medicine companies who really do dirty business. Mediocre medicine companies, they really sponsor foreign visits of the medical officers, not doctors. Those who will be buying in bulk, say for example, paracetamol for all PSC of Odisha. And suppose a sample is given, that is good. So the Babu decides, because the sample is good, and he is suggesting that the medicine should be purchased from this company. But actually the medicines are bad. So who is suffering? The company or the consumers?
Consumers.
So that is what the consumers risk. So I would request you give examples like this so that it is very, very clear. Okay. So this is what called producer's risk and consumer's risk. Now this is what like small description. Actually, that alpha is nothing but what we discussed, that error portion, and 1 minus beta is called the strength of your hypothesis testing. I think we have taken much time, so I must